Hola, soy Jacinto Yorca, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenido a este canal donde ya sabes que hablamos de retail, de marketing, de management y de liderazgo. Y hoy continuamos trabajando en este vídeo, podríamos decir que vintage, pues tiene 30 años, de Philip Kotler, en el cual estamos pues viendo qué de esto que nos contaba hace ya tantos años sigue siendo vigente, que no, es verdad que Kotler ha ido trabajando en su evolución de su concepto de marketing, ya sabes, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, etcétera, pero en cualquier caso vamos a ver hasta qué punto de aquí seguimos teniendo aprendizajes que nos sirvan en el día a día para nuestras empresas y organizaciones. Esa es la segunda parte. Si no has visto la primera, luego pues suscríbete ya, tienes que hacerlo por supuesto, y hacer me gusta y todas esas cosas, pero sobre todo luego pues puedes buscar la primera parte de este vídeo donde bueno, pues seguimos comentando y aprendiendo de Philip Kotler. Así que sigamos. Lo que quieren los consumidores es lo que nos va a contar ahora el profesor Kotler. Escuchamos.
A good way to segment the consumer market is by consumer wants. I mean, we know that there are some consumers who want the highest quality. Some respond more to those companies offering the best service. Some respond to those who offer the lowest price. So we can classify consumers in different want groups. Let me give you some examples. For example, Mobil Oil. They have studied the people who buy gasoline at the service stations, and they distinguish 5 groups, which they call price shoppers, homebodies, road warriors, Generation F3, and true blues. And Mobil decided to skip serving the first 2 groups in the sense of going after them and to focus their gas stations on the last 3 groups. Let's take a brokerage house, which helps men and women buy and invest their money. There's one brokerage house which distinguishes between women who want safety when they invest their money, those who want income, and those who want capital appreciation. Another example will be an insurance company, which distinguishes between those people who want to minimize the amount of insurance that they have to buy versus basic buyers versus premium buyers. And this company focuses on the last group, the premium buyers. So each industry and each company can look at its marketplace and figure out how to classify the buyers by their wants and then focus on that group with those wants that they can best satisfy. We have moved from...
Bueno, aquí Drucker, bueno, Drucker no, sobre Drucker también tenemos vídeos, ¿vale? Y también hay vídeos que también puedes ver en mi canal, pero en este caso Kotler nos está hablando de la segmentación. Esto ya está más que visto y se ha evolucionado mucho, ¿no? Y hay que tener cuidado. Esto lo comentamos en un vídeo anterior también, ¿no? Pues cómo a veces la segmentación pues nos puede llevar a ciertos errores, sobre todo cuando son de tipo sociodemográfico, porque luego la gente te sorprende. Tiene el salario mínimo, pero tiene un iPhone o tiene un teléfono celular de última generación, que no encaja con esa idea de salario mínimo. Por eso es importante tener en cuenta que esos hábitos, esa segmentación en función de temas de estilo de vida, pues son también muy útiles hoy en día. Bueno, y hoy no vamos a hablar de lo que es el buyer persona y demás, que es una cosa pues que se sigue trabajando para intentar tener esos perfiles de clientes, consumidores, usuarios y poder ofrecer nuestros productos o servicios de la mejor forma posible. Seguimos.
An economy where the seller has the power to one where the buyers have the power. That means it's a buyer-driven economy. Once a company has segmented the consumer marketplace, it has to carefully choose a target, a segment, basically, that it can serve well. It doesn't pay for a company to be number 5 in a marketplace. It won't even get its goods on the shelf. It has to go after those segments where it could be number 1 or number 2. Sometimes we say, if you can't be the best in the market, why be in that market? And this is a matter of, does the company have the core competencies, the core capabilities to really deliver a superior offer to those people in the target market? Even when a company chooses a segment to serve, it should be flexible within the segment, since not everyone in a segment can be identical. Let's take the case of DuPont. When DuPont sells a specialty chemical, it doesn't say to the customers, you have to buy it this way. In fact, they can offer the chemical in two levels. They could say you could buy it at a low level, and it will be $100 a pound, and you'll get certain things. You'll get a high quality, but there would be some impurity. You'll get maybe one initial training and just a few things. However, if you need more purity, if you need more training, more R&D support, it will cost you $105.20. Now, it turns out that some customers might say, well, the low level is not good enough, the high level is too expensive, can I have something in between? And DuPont will say, yes, you could buy the chemical and get some of these extra things. Which ones do you want? And the customer might say, well, I would like the higher level of purity, and I'd like the total supply system. And the salesman would say, that's $102.50. So that shows the spirit of being flexible for each customer, and it is in keeping with modern marketing thinking to meet the customer's needs.
Foco en el cliente y esa flexibilidad. Los clientes pagan nuestros sueldos, pagan los sueldos de todas las personas que trabajan en cualquier empresa u organización, cualquier marca. Entonces, no voy a decirte que el cliente siempre tenga la razón, ¿vale? A veces, que una vez me escuché o leí por ahí, ¿no? A veces no la tiene y tiene que creer que la tiene, ¿no? Aunque realmente no la tenga. Pero sí que es cierto que es importante que las empresas escuchen a su consumidor, cliente o usuario, y sean capaces de ofrecer respuestas a sus necesidades de una forma flexible. Aquí, pues, nos comenta Drucker, y dale con Drucker, nos comenta aquí KOTLER este ejemplo, y creo que, bueno, pues es válido a pesar del tiempo que ha pasado. Sigamos.
Companies today are shifting their focus from just managing products to managing customers and keeping customers too. But not all customers are equally profitable to the company. As a matter of fact, companies have been turning to what is called ABC accounting, that's activity-based costing, to really figure out what the profitability is of each of their customers. And once they do that, they can rank their customers in deciles, like the top 10% of their customers, the next 10%, and so on. And when they do that, they found a rule, and the rule is what we call the 80-20-30 rule. And the 80-20-30 rule says this, that 20% of your best customers may be delivering 80% of your profits, and that the worst 30% of your customers may be cutting your profits in half. This poses a question: do we keep all of our customers? What do we do with the ones who are unprofitable? Do we fire them? Do we approach them and see if we can find a way to work better together? Should we put fees on them when they order quantities which are too small? But the question is now, we really have to manage a customer mix. As a matter of fact, we are beginning to see our customers as our main assets and our main profit centers. The customers are the profit centers, not just the products.
El 2080 que estamos hartos de ver, ¿no? Y que hemos comentado muchas veces, tanto en retail como otras industrias y sectores, no es el 20% de cliente o de producto que te genera el 80% de beneficio, de ganancia o de facturación, de ingresos, pero luego está ese otro 30%, ¿no? Que te hace perder dinero y que no es rentable. Aquí, y si eres empresario, directivo y estás interesado en el mundo de la empresa, siempre hay un dilema, ¿no? Y es que hacemos con los clientes que no son rentables. Aquí se plantea la duda muy razonable, porque seguro que si tienes tu negocio, si trabajas en una empresa, pues y tienes ese grado de responsabilidad, seguramente has vivido alguna experiencia en la que dices, si lo llegamos a saber, no aceptamos a este cliente, porque nos produce pérdidas, ya no solamente a lo mejor en que no sea competitivo en precio. Muchas veces las pérdidas vienen por la energía y el tiempo que te hace perder, porque son clientes que pues, continuamente tienen algún tipo de problema, de queja, que son muy dependientes, que necesitan estar continuamente preguntándote cosas para poder activar el producto o servicio, que requieren mucho servicio postventa por cualquier motivo. Es decir, son cosas que se alejan de la normalidad, ¿no? Entiendo que el producto o servicio que estás dando es el adecuado. Y a veces ocurre eso. Si lo llego a saber, no aceptamos a este cliente.
Companies actually have three tasks. One is to get customers, the second is to keep customers, and the third is to grow customers. Now, much of the emphasis today is moving from getting customers to keeping customers. The reason is we're finding out that it costs something like, 5 times as much to get a new customer as to keep an existing customer happy. So the question is, how do we keep our customers? One of the things we're learning is that the longer we keep a customer, the more profitable the customer is. And there's 4 reasons for that. We can show you why the profitability rises the longer we keep a customer. One reason is that the customer grows and therefore buys more from us over time, as long as we keep them. The second reason is that the cost of serving a long-term customer gets smaller over time because we get to know each other, we don't have to renegotiate every year, and we understand his needs better, so the cost of serving a customer goes down. The third reason is that the customer, if he's happy and satisfied, is likely to tell others, and that will bring us some new customers, which is another source of profitability. And the fourth reason is that from time to time we have to raise our price, but the long-term customers are so involved with us, they can understand that, we can explain it to them that we are trying to cover rising costs, and so basically we are able to get a price premium from the long-term customers. For those 4 reasons, we would like to be able to keep customers satisfied longer. You know, each industry differs in what we call the customer profit lifetime pattern. Very important to study that. And for example, in auto insurance, it costs a company selling auto insurance something like $250 to get a new customer. And it loses that amount of money in the first year, loses some money in the second year, starts making money in the third, fourth, and fifth year. On the other hand, a company that is giving auto service will be making money at the very beginning, but the amount of money they will make, the amount of profit, will grow over time. So it is very important to understand in your industry what is the particular pattern of profit over the lifetime of a customer. Do companies with higher customer retention rates actually make more money? Let's look at the insurance industry, and let's look at the retention rates of several insurance companies and their profitability. We can see from this chart that there is a definite relationship between the company's profitability and its retention rate. Now, in addition, this means that we want to be one of those companies with a very high customer retention rate. Some companies are amazing, 98% retention rate for some companies in the insurance business. An advertising agency, Leo Burnett, with a 98% retention rate, unheard of in the advertising business. Other companies are very able to keep their customers happy. Companies like John Deere in the farm equipment business. Lexus, as an automobile, has a 60% repeat purchase rate. And so we believe that companies that have mastered the art of customer retention are going to be the leaders in their industries.
Personalmente no me gusta hablar de retención de clientes, porque retener al cliente es mantenerlo cautivo en un sentido estricto. Y aquí yo creo que Kotler está más pensando en lo que hoy entendemos por fidelización del cliente, que para eso no hace falta tener una tarjeta de puntos ni nada por el estilo, ¿no? Aquí lo estamos viendo, es cuando tú entiendes tan bien a tu cliente, consumidor o usuario, que eres capaz de tener una relación tan buena con él que al final pues siempre decide elegirte a ti. Y creo que esta es la clave última de la fidelización, que no retención. Retener es tener a alguien cautivo, es como esas empresas de telefonía móvil donde hay un contrato con una exclusividad, o no exclusividad, no, es una permanencia, ¿verdad? En la cual no te puedes ir a otra compañía mientras que eso esté vigente. Y eso, pues al final, no es que el cliente te esté eligiendo a ti por ser el mejor en lo tuyo, te está eligiendo porque hay un contrato que le impide moverse a otra compañía, o si no va a ser penalizado. Entonces creo que esto de la reflexión es importante, el cómo tenemos que pensar en fidelización más allá de la retención. Pero bueno, No obstante, lo que dice aquí Kotler es válido sin duda.
In order to keep your customers, you have to be better and different in some way. And there's a lot of sources of differences that you can exploit. We usually use the 4 Ps as a way to do that. We talk about product, price, place, and promotion. Let's be a little more...
Esas son las 4 Ps clásicas del marketing. Producto, precio, promoción y distribución.
More elaborate. You've got to ask yourself the question under product. Can you make your product have better features? What about better performance, better quality, better styling, better design? When you don't find an idea that way, you go to the next thing and ask about services. Are you able to deliver better services to your customers? Can you deliver faster? Can you install faster? Can you offer some advice and training to your customers? Sometimes you don't get an idea that way, so you ask, well, can I hire better people who are more knowledgeable, who can be more expert and friendly to the customer? Sometimes you go on to something else and you ask whether you could have better channels of distribution with more coverage, with more numbers of outlets and so on. You also ask the question, can I improve my image? Can I sponsor certain events that give me a good image in the marketplace, like sports events, maybe cultural events? Can I use better symbols for myself? Can I price better? So we basically try to draw ideas from these sources in order to be different and better for the target market and the customers we want to keep.
Son preguntas básicas, pero son necesarias y no estaría mal recordarnos de vez en cuando eso, qué es lo que podemos mejorar basando en esas 4 Ps del marketing. Ahora Kotler se da un paseo y lo miramos.
Companies that understand how to test customer wants and needs more accurately and more swiftly, and then to offer products and services which more accurately fit the customers, will have a distinct competitive advantage. Your company has to decide on the level of relationship marketing that it wants to practice. I mean, there is such a thing as minimal relationship marketing, where you give very little to the customer except the product that you're supplying him with. You can practice your marketing at a higher level, which we call reactive. At least you permit the customer to reach you easily with suggestions, with inquiries, with complaints, and that means you are at least ready to react to his needs. There's even a higher level, which we call proactive marketing, where you actually take some responsibility to reach the customer. You know, ultimately, you can be a partner to the customer, and that is, you're always available, and so on. Now, what you should do is you should take each dimension of the relationship, like how much technical service do you want to supply? How much of other service do you want to supply? How much sociability do you want to supply? How do you want to build a customer and make your records apparent to him? Those questions can be satisfied at different levels. So somehow your company will be profiled as either a minimal marketer or a reactive marketer or a accountable marketer, a proactive marketer, or a partner. This chart is basically there to help you figure out 2 things. Where do you want to be with respect to all of these possibilities? And secondly, where's your competitor? And I would worry if my competitor is giving much more to the same customers that I'm going after than I am. Certainly if he is, he's going to be able to charge a higher price than you. And so this is a diagnostic chart that helps you plan the relationships with your customers. Buyers are expressing more individualized needs and wants. There are several other ways in which you can differentiate your offering and therefore build a stronger relationship with your customers. The first one we would say is managing the customer's complexity. For example, P&G and Walmart are working very closely together so that the problem Walmart has of knowing how many shampoos to order and how many baby diapers to order can be managed more effectively. This is called helping your customer reduce his complexity in dealing with you. The second possibility is to involve the customer in adding some value himself or herself. For example, the famous furniture company, IKEA, which is the world's largest furniture company, says, look, we can bring the prices down if you, the customer, will assemble the furniture yourself. So involve the customer in participating and therefore doing some of the work, which makes the cost less to the customer.
Bueno, aquí vamos a hacer un paréntesis o poner un asterisco, porque realmente esta estrategia de IKEA es clásica, es tradicional, todos lo hemos estudiado y comentado y leído, y es una realidad. Pero la orientación al cliente de IKEA y el clientecentrismo que tiene IKEA en sus consumidores ha hecho que vaya evolucionando eso un poco. Y ahora ya no le dice, este es el precio, usted monta el mueble. Ahora IKEA ya empieza a facilitar servicio de montaje, servicio de transporte a domicilio y un servicio pues postventa más integral. Incluso hay algunos sitios donde el servicio de montaje corre por parte de IKEA, pero normalmente es algo que está tercerizado, es decir, es un servicio que ellos te facilitan la contratación. ¿Esto qué quiere decir? Oye, pues que no todo el mundo está dispuesto a montar los muebles de IKEA, no todo el mundo está dispuesto a trasladar en su propio auto, carro, coche, como lo digas, camioneta, el mueble de IKEA, quiere que él lo haga. Y esto es interesante porque quiere decir que IKEA empieza ya no, de hace ya tiempo, no a ser esa preferencia de mueble económico, sino que cuando yo estoy dispuesto a pagar el transporte y el montaje, ya no es solamente lo económico, que ya deja de ser ya tan económico como tengo que pagar ese transporte, ese montaje, sino que estoy valorando pues otras cosas más que me aporta IKEA de funcionalidad, de diseño, de estilo e incluso de calidad, si esa es la calidad que yo estoy dispuesto a pagar. Entonces, interesante. Hace 30 años el discurso de IKEA estaba clarísimo. Ahora, en este año 2022, o cuando estés viendo el vídeo, pues ya sabes que esto pues empieza a estar de otra forma porque tienen que acompañar a ese consumidor que está dispuesto a pagar para que alguien lo monte o para que alguien lo transporte. Así que es interesante.
A third possibility is to offer greater customization to your customers. Boeing, by the way, in preparing a 747 for an airline, doesn't give the same plane to every airline. It changes the interiors, it changes the power mix, and so on. So it is ready to customize its planes. Another possibility is you may be able to win by being more timely in your response to customers. Right now, there's some companies which will deliver something to you that you suddenly decide you need in 2 hours. For example, the firm called Mattresses to Go. Phone them, and in 2 hours you'll get a new mattress. And in this case of Progressive Insurance, for example, we have a company that if you are unfortunate enough to have an accident and the police are going to come to the scene of the accident, the insurance company itself will be there even before the police arrive to help you out because you're in trouble. Something happened that you didn't plan on, and that's an insurance company that gets closer to you by its timely response.
Y ya sabemos que Amazon, por ejemplo, en muchos territorios está haciendo entregas en 1 hora. Esto del colchón no lo conocía, me parece sorprendente. Y de la compañía de seguros, pues ya eso sería una compañía estupenda, ¿no? Yo, desde luego, cuando tengo que esperar una grúa, ¿no? Por un accidente, afortunadamente, gracias a Dios, ha sido de esperar un rato bien largo, ¿no? Pero bueno, al final, la rapidez puede suponer esa ventaja ya competitiva que te diferencia en el mercado y que sea, obviamente, algo atractivo para el cliente.
Many companies are starting loyalty programs and membership programs. We all know that Harley-Davidson runs a program called the HOG program, Harley Owners Group, where the members get help of various kinds. They are getting invitations to rallies. They are getting special insurance prices. They get a magazine on how to take care of their motorcycles and so on. You know that the Japanese company called Shiseido has something like 10 million members, who for $35 a year get a whole bunch of benefits. That's another way to bring customers closer to you. Still another way is if you're really an extraordinary company, you ought to give an extraordinary guarantee. An example of that would be Hampton Inns in the United States. It's a motel system, and as a motel system, they make a promise which is extraordinary. It's the one you'd really want. Namely, if you're not satisfied with the room, if it's been noisy, the bed's been bad for you, you don't have to pay. They're the only one who can offer that because they are so perfect in their service and quality that very rarely does anyone complain. So if you're the kind of company that has an extraordinary performance, you ought to make an extraordinary guarantee. Finally, just make sure your customer sees your product more often and finds it more easily to reach and when they need it. We're now finding that a lot of companies like McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts and so on are locating in airports, they're locating in schools. They want to put their product within a hand's reach in a sense. So all of those are ideas for getting closer to your customer and building a better service relationship with them. Every company has three marketing tasks. One is to attract customers, another is to keep customers, and a third is to grow customers. I'm at a wonderful shopping center, and they do the following to attract and to keep and to grow customers. Twice a week, they open the floor to an aerobics course, which is free, and many, many women come from the surrounding community to do aerobics. And they invite their other friends as well, which brings new people into the shopping center. And
qué pinta aquí, Kotler, aquí, el tío ahí con su gabardina, con brazos ahí en jarras, viendo el aeróbic. Bueno, esto es interesante, ¿no? Y encaja mucho en la idea de que tenemos hoy en día en los shoppings, en los centros comerciales, de que se conviertan en polos de atracción con una oferta de ocio que te anime a querer ir al centro comercial. Y ya sabemos, hablamos mucho de experiencias, que veas al centro comercial y pasen cosas que deben pasar más allá de la compra. Vamos a ver.
When they're finished doing their aerobics, many of them stopped into the shops. And it makes an important point that I'd like to make, and that is retailing must be more interesting, it must be entertaining, it must be fun. And that is the nature now of companies and retailers who would like to attract us to their premises. We're all very busy people, but by making it interesting, it's worth moving to that destination and enjoying it.
Eso es, queridos amigos, si no hay ocio, no hay negocio. Sin ocio, no hay negocio. El retail, y de esto hablamos aquí mucho, tiene que aportar algo más, porque el producto o servicio lo puedes comprar prácticamente en cualquier sitio, especialmente el producto. Los productos son los mismos. Este bolígrafo, ¿vale? Este elemento de escritura lo voy a encontrar en muchos sitios, pero el cómo lo compro en tu tienda y no en otra va a ser diferente, y eso debe ser divertido en su eficiencia como para que quiera elegirte a ti de forma continua.
Customers now have the power in the marketplace. They have more choices, they're better informed, more sophisticated, they're more individualized in their wants, and furthermore, their values migrate and change through time, of course requiring companies also to change their strategies and marketing mixes through time. We noted that going after the home market is increasingly irrelevant and inefficient, that customers must be grouped by either their demographics or lifestyles or wants, and that a company should focus on serving those segments which it can serve in a superior way. We then noted that companies must emphasize keeping customers over simply finding new customers, that customer profitability grows with customer tenure, and that some companies have achieved remarkable customer retention rates, and that there are a number of frameworks that can stimulate ideas in the company and how the company can be different and better than its competitors. This is what we have so far learned.
Hasta aquí este documental, este vídeo, este testimonio de Kotler. Han pasado 30 años desde que se hizo este vídeo. ¿Realmente esto está desfasado? ¿Realmente estamos hablando ante algo que es de otra época? ¿Realmente esto tiene que ser ya oculto en las catacumbas del marketing y de la gestión empresarial? Pues creo que vamos a coincidir en que el 95% de lo que ha dicho, el 90% de lo que ha dicho, una gran, si no el 100% incluso, podríamos llegar a pensar, sigue siendo vigente, sigue siendo las bases del marketing. Después ya veremos si este marketing tenemos que vestirlo de técnicas digitales o tenemos que recurrir a otro tipo de estrategias, pero la esencia del marketing, de comprender al consumidor, cliente, usuario, de diseñar el producto tan bien que no haya que venderlo, sino que él directamente lo compre, sigue siendo vigente. Por eso creo que estas enseñanzas deberían estar siempre a nuestro alcance y siempre en nuestra cabeza para no olvidar lo que es realmente importante y no dejarnos llevar por las modas que continuamente en marketing y gestión de empresas solemos tener pues, de una forma muy accesible. Te deseo lo mejor, muchas gracias por haber llegado hasta aquí. Suscríbete ahora mismo si no lo has hecho y te espero en un próximo vídeo para hablar y seguir hablando de retail, de marketing, de management y de liderazgo. Cuídate mucho, hasta pronto, chao.